right, I'm set up again. This is a new day. This is actually Friday, August 8th, I believe. Let me look on the calendar to make sure. Yep. So I am going to do more crinkle cut fries. My husband liked them. So same process as the other day. Got me some potatoes clean here. I may have to get some more. And then I want to do a small batch of pickles. We actually picked enough cucumbers yesterday that I might get like 3 pints again. So every bit's going to count on my pickle storage this winter. So I'm going to get started peeling these. There's no sense of showing you peel them. Pretty self-explanatory. But anyway, I'm hoping to get my 3 cooking sheets in the freezer so I can get started on the pickles. And then I've got it laid out. I'm going to make me a low-fat, sugar-free chocolate pie for us to munch on for dessert this weekend. I might try and get that in before I have to stop. Alright, there's what I ended up with for this. I probably won't do any more just because my hands, I've been doing potatoes now for 3 days and got to give them a break. So I'm just going to do this round and see how many I get. I should get like 3-quart bags with these, which that's what this challenge is all about. Every bit counts. And I'll get back at it. I actually know I'm going to have to go out in the garden this evening and pick more beans. So I'm going to be snapping tonight. I don't know how many I'm going to have. So rest my hands a little bit when I get this done. Next, I have to blanch them. I usually do, it says 3 to 6. I usually try to keep them in there for 5 minutes. And then I'll transfer them over onto this towel. These are peeling. And just blot them dry. And then they'll go onto parchment paper. Wow, it's not doing it again. Parchment paper onto my sheets. I'll spritz with olive oil like I did the other day. Lay them on top, spritz them again, and then freeze for at least 2 hours, and then bag them up in Ziploc bags. And again, like I said, I don't like vacuum sealing them because sometimes they do stick together and you get big globs. And they don't last very long in our freezer anyway to even worry about freezer burn. All right, I did end up with my 3 trays full, and actually I got some kind of sitting on top of each other. All I'm doing is using my mister that's got olive oil in it, and I'm going over the top of them, give them a light coating, and then off to the freezer they go. And I'll get them bagged up. So since I've got these 3 lipping full, I should get 4 more quart bags, which will be great. And then I've got a half of another one in there, so that means I'll end up with 9 bags of French fries in the freezer this week, which is pretty good. And then I've got plenty more potatoes. I actually went and got a 5-gallon bucket more yesterday, so I'm gonna be doing potatoes for the next week or 2 for sure, in amongst all the other stuff, because I got a lot going on. I got to can more mixed vegetables. I want to get that stew meat shredded and froze up, put in a crock pot, and I also have got to get another batch of chicken stock and get it on the freezer, on the shelf, because that'll be great for the winter season. So I'll be right back for you, and you'll see how many I got. I've got my few cucumbers in ice water. They'll stay in there for about an hour. All this does, it helps it really in the longevity of your pickles to stay crisp on the shelf. So I like, one of my husband's co-workers actually told him for me to do this, and I've been doing this for a few years, and it really does work. It hydrates your pickles back up so they're firm and crisp. And I did just bake, I had a olive oil pie crust in my freezer from, I don't know, a month or so ago. I made, why in the world, there. I'm sorry about focusing, I'm new to messing with this. This is just a scrap pie dough that I had left, so I pieced it together. It don't look the prettiest, but it's gonna taste good. I'm gonna make a sugar-free chocolate pie. I use this 0 sugar pudding mix, and I've got 1% milk. I put 1 3/4 cups instead of 2 cups, and when I mix it up, I'll let that get good and firmed up in the fridge. And then I've got reduced fat, actually this is regular, no, here it is, reduced fat Cool Whip. So I'm going to put a tub of that in there, in the chocolate pudding. I'm sorry, a little rattled today. I'll get that all mixed up, and then I'll just, when this is completely cool, I'll put that filling in there and put it in the fridge, and you've got a very low calorie, low fat chocolate pie. This pie crust, if I don't forget, I'll link the recipe in the description, because it doesn't take butter and it doesn't take eggs, which really makes it healthier, a healthier pie crust. And it tastes good. I'm usually finicky on pie crust, and it tastes fine to me. So this is probably how I'm going to start doing it. I'm going to make a few extra here coming up and get them put in the freezer. So just a healthier option so you can still satisfy your sweet tooth. Filling's done. It was just 1 box of 0 sugar chocolate pudding mix instant, 1 tub of reduced fat Cool Whip. Let the pudding set up good, and then fold the Cool Whip in, and you've got this nice light filling. Again, as soon as this completely cools, it's almost there, but I want it completely cooled. I'll put that in there and put it in the fridge and give it about 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours, so it can firm up. And you'll have you a low calorie, low fat chocolate pie. I did get 3 more pints of pickles, and I had to make a whole nother batch of the pickle mix. So now I've got this cooling so I can put it in the fridge, and I just got to pop it out when I get some more cucumbers for a small batch. And I got the pie made. I think I'm going to wind down for a while. I've got to put that 5-gallon bucket of potatoes down up on the table yet. Then I got to start dinner here pretty soon, and then I guess I'm going to pick green beans this evening. So staying busy. This Every Bit Counts challenge is a wonderful thing. Jessica from 3 Rivers Homestead started it, and if you haven't never checked out her channel, go check it out. All right, got another 5-gallon bucket of potatoes up here to cure really good. They was dug the same time as those, but they've been in a trailer, so I'm just kind of spreading them out, letting them cure a little more. I did get the red potatoes put into a milk crate. Those are still our little ones. So I kind of got it a little organized so I know what to grab for what I am going to be preserving. Okay, this is a new day, and I had 3 bags of mixed vegetables, different sizes, in the freezer. So I took them out of their packages. I've got them in a pot, just put some water on it, nothing else. I'm going to let them come up to boil, shut it off, and then we're going to put it into pint jars, and then I'm going to pressure can them so they'll last longer on the shelf. I need my freezer space. I am starting to do French fries now, and I'm already half full on my freezer, and I've still got sweet potatoes to dig next month, and a lot of them's going to be sweet potato fries. So I need to get the stuff out of the freezer, and the first thing to get out was the mixed vegetables. So I'm going to let them simmer a little bit while we eat some lunch, and then I'm going to get going. Okay, I've let the vegetables get hot. You're not worried about cooking them. You just want them to get hot. Otherwise, they'll be mush when they come out of the pressure canner. So I've got water boiling on the stove that I'm going to add into it. You probably could use this vegetable water. I've just got regular boiled water to go in it here. Since I got these hot, and I've got hot water to go in them, I've got to make sure the water in the pressure canner is hot. You can't shock the jars. You don't want them cracking. I've done a video on this a couple months back, but I had to get some room in the freezer, so I needed to get these out too. Very easy. We don't have enough vegetables on the shelf for wintertime soups. It'd be good for pot pies, go into stews, or just open up a jar and heat them up and eat them. Hoping to get the full canner. I don't know if I'll make it or not. I have to get me a slotted spoon so I can get a lot more here. Now let me get me another spoon so it'll go a little faster. Alright, I got 8 pints out of this. I'm going to put a half a teaspoon of salt in each one. This is sea salt. Just for flavoring. I don't believe this is necessary for canning. Okay. Now, where is my phone? Okay, and I just got my hot water down here. Always go up to that first main lip. Not do too much of that. To see after I debubble it. This is a quick and easy project to get on the shelf, just using frozen. Okay, get bubbled. See where I'm at. I could use a little more water. That's good. You want to wipe the rims. And I've already washed these in mild soapy water, rinsed them well. My forJars canning lids. You don't want to over tighten them because you don't want the lid to buckle. And I'll get these put over in the canner and we'll get the lid on, get it up to pressure. Once it goes up to pressure, it's going to cook for 55 minutes. Check your altitude. Mine will go to 10 pounds of pressure, and then I'll have them shelf stable after that. Okay, we've got a solid, steady stream of steam. So in about 8 minutes, I'll be putting the weight on at 10 pounds of pressure. So it'll go down here on this one. I'll put it down like that. And then we'll set the timer once this gets up to 10 for 55 minutes. Alright, once it gets to 10, which it's almost there, I'll set the timer. 55 minutes. Hit start. And then I've got to get this off a high. And it should go down to 7. Should be my sweet spot. And now we'll just let her cook for 55 minutes. Alright, I have 8 pints, just brought them out of the pressure canner. And I'll let them set now for about 12 hours and then I'll put them on the shelf. I did 8 pints earlier a couple months ago, so I've got plenty. 16 pints will get me for a year. That's 16 pots of soup. Basically, that's what I use it mostly for. But now that I know how to can my own mixed vegetables, I can make it pretty well any time of the year. So I think that's going to do it for this one. This is Shelly from Hodgepodge Hoosiers. If you like this kind of content, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And check out all the other Every Bit Counts challenge people that is doing this. It's a great, great project for everybody. Bye for now.